All right, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises to honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakwadash. I want to say and give double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this word in truth and sincerity and for ruling well. I will say and give salutations to the elect, Lord willing with some of those men and women. The Honor Brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii, coming to you with another quick lesson. And it was inspired by this video that I received via Instagram. And this is a clear example of that there's no truth in these so-called Christian churches, which these are anti-Messiah. These are anti-Christians, man. They're not the truly anointed. They're actually against the anointed of Yahweh B'Shem Shah. All right. And their message is extremely flawed, is extremely given into the world. You know, that's why Yahweh Shai said that broad is the way to destruction, but narrow is the gate. That path of righteousness is a narrow path, and not many can walk down it. And it's a reason why these Christian churches are set up the way they're set up, is because they're set up to lead in primarily you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans to destruction. And this guy right here, you know, his loudmouth, zoot suit wearing Negro pastor, all he's doing is placating to the world. And if you notice in the crowd, when you see it, it's going to be nothing but women in there, you know, because women love to hear those lies, right? Real quick, before I get into it, let me get this precept right here, Isaiah chapter 30, verse 9 and 10. All right, Isaiah chapter 30, verse 9 and 10, because these pastors, these so-called pastors, they don't understand the scriptures. They don't know the scriptures, right? These niggas with these doctors in divinity and theology, they don't know the scriptures, right? They don't know it at all. Isaiah 30 and 9 says, this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord. And that's another thing. You Jakes, you Israelites in the world, you Negroes, Latino, Native Americans in the world, you refuse to hear the law of the Lord, right? You get mad. Oh, the Lord did away with the laws, which he didn't. You read the scriptures, they tell you he didn't, right? But Jake would rather break these laws and continue to be further away from the Lord than to follow these laws and be brought closer to the Lord, right? And have faith in it, okay? Not saying that you can keep the law 100%, but following these laws will bring you closer to Yahweh B'Shem Shah. And Jake don't want to hear that. They're in constant rebellion. Right, verse 10. And would say to the seers, which are the prophets, see not. And to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceit. Right? And that's what these guys are doing. These, your T.D. Jakes, your Creflo Dollars, your Joel Osteens, all these so-called Christian pastors and so-called religious leaders in the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American community, all they do is prophesy deceit. And this is a clear example of that, right? This is a man who does not know the scriptures at all. But these people in the crowd, they don't know it either. So let me play this real quick.
Sodom and Gomorrah was not destroyed because of homosexuality. That is an ignorant and a lazy theology. When you consider the historicity of the text, the reason the city was destroyed.
Yeah, see, niggas use these big words to try to make themselves sound intelligent, you know, like they're educated. The historicity of the text, right? Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed for its wickedness, and sexual depravity was a big thing amongst them Canaanites, right? That were living in that area. Okay, they were extreme sodomites and wickedness, and all manners of wickedness going there. But sodomy was heavy there. It was commonplace there.
Destroyed is because God couldn't find no righteous people.
In which he's lying, because Lot is righteous. We gonna play this. We gonna show you this in the scriptures. This guy is lying, because Lot was righteous.
Look, so you done been to Sunday school. He said, give me 50, I'll save the city. Give me 25, I'll save the city. Give me 10, and I'll save the city. Sodom and Gomorrah was not destroyed because of homosexuality. It was destroyed because the homosexuals couldn't find nobody that was holy to tell them that ain't clean. And the problem with our city, the problem with our state, The problem with our church is nobody want to be holy enough to tell the truth about sin and let somebody know this is right and that's wrong. This is holy and this is unholy. This is the right way to do it and this is the wrong. Even if I'm guilty, I'm going to tell you the truth. Sodom.
And most of these pastors in these churches, they're homosexuals themselves. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to appease their homosexual and lesbian audience. When the scriptures speak expressly against that behavior, a man sleeping with a man, laying with the man as he lay with the woman, a woman laying with the woman, in that manner, bestiality, all of that shit, and that was prevalent in Sodom and Gomorrah. All of those activities, the same shit that's going on today, right? So real quick, this is the book of where was it at? Well, Second Peter's. Just bear with me. Yeah, 2 Peter. Let me get this real quick. 2 Peter's 2, and I'll start at 5, because this guy said that there was nobody righteous. Them people didn't have nobody righteous to tell them what they was doing was wrong, and they did, right? This is I'll start at 5. 2 Peter's 2 and 5. And spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness. Right? And that's why the Lord destroyed the world the first time via water. Because of what? Sin and iniquity was out of control. Violence was out of control. Depravity was out of control. But there were righteous men that were left. And that righteous man was Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness. The same thing we're doing as Israelites, as the prophets of Yahweh Shemal Shai. We're preaching righteousness. These pastors and these churches, this big mouth ninja turtle looking nigga, he ain't speaking righteousness, bro. This dude ain't preaching righteousness. He's preaching wickedness. Okay? It says, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly. And to be in a state of homosexuality, we're focusing on this right now, right? What this guy was saying. To be in that state of, to practice and live in a state of sexual depravity, that includes homosexuality, lesbianism, transsexuality, all of that shit, confusion, that to live in that state is what? It's ungodliness, right? Verse 6, in turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those after that should live ungodly. Right? So the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Yes, he destroyed it for homosexuality and lesbianism. Yes, he destroyed it because of the sexual depravity and wickedness that was going on in there. Right? Because he set it up to be an example of this is what happens when you live ungodly. And you would think that Esau, with his anthropologists and his academics and his archaeologists, that they search these things out. They understand, they search the scriptures too. You would think that they were running their society, as much as they pushed the Bible, that they would use Sodom and Gomorrah as an example of not to live ungodly. But what they do, they wax worse and worse, even worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay? So Sodom and Gomorrah was an example of what happens, how 5 cities, because it was really 5 cities that were destroyed, that was living in an ungodly state. All right? And the Lord overthrew it. And this is before we as the Israelites became a nation. This is during the time of our forefather Abraham and Lot, his nephew, which Lot is an Israelite too. He came back as an Israelite too. Lot is a son of the Most High too. And Lot was a righteous man. Right? And he had to live in amongst these depraved individuals. Right? And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes and condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked, because Lot had to live amongst these people. He was an outsider. He wasn't even he wasn't a natural person living in Sodom and Gomorrah, right? He was an Israelite. Well, he was a son of the Most High, living amongst these filthy people, and it vexed him to have to be amongst these people and listen to their conversation. The same thing that's happened to us as Israelites in the truth today, right? It says NLT, us as the men of the Most High living amongst these people in the world today. And the LT says, but the Most High also rescued Lot out of Sodom because he was a righteous man who was sick of the shameful immorality of the wicked people around him. But this dude said that it wasn't no righteous people to tell him what they was doing was wrong. And then you got all of these fucking women. I can't fast forward the video because it don't have the thing on there. But you got all of these women standing up, clapping their hands like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Right? Like this dude is a man of the Most High. He got that fucking Sweetwater suit on, that phallus symbol on his neck, right? And he's placating to the emotions of these people. When you go to these, bro, when you look at these churches, they be going live. It don't be no men, no real men sitting amongst that fucking congregation. The seats be empty as shit. You know what I mean? But the only people that's really filling them churches up are silly women, right?
And Gomorrah was not destroyed because of homosexuality.
This guy's a liar. And even people on a comment board caught this nigga and said he was lying. Right here, it says he's not telling the truth. It says God destroyed the city because of lifestyle. He's trying to please LGBTQ LMOP community. Exactly. That's the truth. That's what he's doing. And they don't want to hear it. And then somebody said, I guess you can't read either. What do you mean? It says, go back and watch the video. This time, don't stop at historicity. Like, nobody stopped it. We let this nigga talk. Right? The nigga used historicity. Let's look up that word because he want to use it. His niggas be using big words just to sound fucking smart. Historicity. Historicity. Right? Historicity is what? It says is historical authenticity. So there's historical facts why this place was destroyed. So what's wrong with using historical authenticity? But he said,
that is an ignorant and a lazy theology.
It's ignorant to you. It's ignorant. First of all, the word ignorant means to not know. And we not lazy. We read and search the scriptures. Salaki, damn. Daily. We read and search the scriptures daily to see if these things are true or not. So this guy, he just saying shit just to make himself sound intelligent, right? But this nigga is off. He's speaking in a way to let the world accept this. Says, please always listen to understand before commenting. He is absolutely right, and you can consider most countries nowadays where the supposed to be righteous are not coming out to confirm what is right and wrong. Well, you have men out here that's confirming what's right and wrong. That's us, the prophets. But niggas don't want to listen. You jakes don't want to listen. It says, and in essence, they become guilty or unrighteous due to keeping quiet about the ill will. Well, that's what he's doing. Because he's supposed to be a man of the cloth, right? He's supposed to be a teacher of the Bible, right? But this dude ain't telling you that shit is wrong. And all in the scriptures, nowhere in the scriptures did the Lord accept a person living in that state of ungodliness. In fact, you had to repent from that. When you read the book of St. John, chapter 6 and 9, right? St. John, chapter 6, verse 9. I gotta clear the space on my computer. It says, St. John. 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. Salakia. 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. Right? It says, know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves of mankind. Let's look at that in the NLT. It says right here, don't you realize that those who do wrong, so we know that sexual immorality is wrong. And we tell you that it's wrong. But y'all don't want to hear it because in this world, sexual depravity and immorality is acceptable. Right? They have laws to protect this shit. Don't you realize that those who do wrong will not inherit the kingdom of the Most High? Don't fool yourselves. Those who indulge in sexual sin, or who worship idols, or commit adultery, or a male prostitute, or practice homosexuality. Them type of people ain't going to inherit the kingdom. Let's read verse 11. And such were some of you, but ye are washed. So these elect men and women that were living this way, they repented of that shit. And they stopped living that way. And they were made clean and holy through the blood of Yahweh Shah, through the blood of Yahweh Shah. But ye are sanctified, but ye are justified in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shah, and by the Spirit of the Most High. In the NLT, it says, some of you were once like that, but you were cleansed. You were made holy. You were made right with the Most High by calling on the name of the Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach, and by the Spirit of our power. You see? So this guy, he's just talking. Right? This guy, this is what they do in these churches. That's why there's no truth in them churches, man. There's nothing but lies and robbery. That's a fucking hole. Right? You got Jake snared in holes in here. He said this is a lazy theology, but to say that Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed for homosexuality, no, it's not lazy. It's the truth, man. And that's why that's another reason why America's going to be destroyed, man. Because it is the world purveyor in ungodliness, and it pushes it out through the world like a satellite. And who's the ruler of America, Babylon the Great? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Talking about starting from the top elite families. Right? But they got a nigga like this. He's trying to fill his seats, get his congregation up so he can get the money. He got to say things as acceptable to Jake. You got niggas in Israel that's like that. They say things as acceptable to Jake so that Jake can come in and give them their money and bolster their congregation. But on top of that, they're lying.
Consider the historicity of the text. The reason the city was destroyed is because God couldn't find no righteous people.
What? It told you right here, nigga. It says, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. 2 Peter 2:7. But the Most High also rescued Lot out of Sodom because he was a righteous man who was sick of the shameful immorality of the wicked people around him. Right? Because he ended up there because of what? His people was too large for his uncle's people. They were all large, so it was conflict. So Lot had to go somewhere else with his people. He ended up settling in that area of Sodom and Gomorrah, particularly Sodom. Right? But then he had to be living around these filthy ass people. And that's the same way we are in this world. We're in the mindset of Lot. And the Lord's going to deliver the righteous out of this place. Because we're vexed with the filthy conversation that's in the midst thereof, man. You see? And this woman, a woman of all people, a Hindu, she was more right than these people. It says they hate to read. Keep preaching said, no, we do read. But you got to read with understanding. No matter what name is called, sin is sin. It was destroyed. And it wasn't destroyed. It wasn't destroyed yet. Because the world is full of sin and iniquity. Right? It says, think he's preaching his own struggle. Yeah, he is preaching his own struggle. Because this nigga is a closeted homosexual, like most of them pastors and preachers. These major leaders of these so-called religious organizations are homosexuals. Right? Are closeted homosexuals and lesbians. Right? Somebody says, behold, this was the iniquity of the sister Sodom. Pride, fullness of bread, and abundance of idleness was in her and her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and the needy, and they were haughty and committed abominations before men. Therefore I took them away, and as I saw good. Ezekiel 16:49 and 50. And you notice that a lot of people throwing up scriptures now. You could think Yahweh was shy through the apostles and the elders. A great millstone have you reading the scriptures, bro. They posting precepts, man, cutting this man. Hey, Salaki, about that. My recorder stopped recording, so I had to continue it on. I had to free up some space. But anyway, like, yeah, this guy, he just talking out of his fucking whole heart, man. It's just we need to stop chopping up the Bible. God said what he said, man. Exactly, bro. But you see a lot of people that are living this way, they want to accept what this guy is saying as truth, right? It says they so used to people twisting the Bible to make sure gay people get a good tongue lashing to the point if it were not sending them to hell. They say it's not biblical. Well, it's not biblical, and you're not going to go to hell, but you're going to die on the inside, right? You're going to be destroyed. You're not going to inherit the kingdom of the Most High the first go around. You're going to have to die at the death by pain. Then you'll be reborn as a new child in the kingdom of heaven if you're an Israelite to inherit it. All right. This guy, he just talking, right? There was a righteous man in Sodom, and that righteous man was Lot. This is Genesis 19, and I'll go to the I'll start at Genesis 19, and really you can start at 1. It says the doom of Sodom, right? Genesis 19 and 1, and it says, and there came 2 angels to Sodom and at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom, and Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And these were 2 angels, right? Men. They came in as men. The angels, they're men, and they were the ones that were set up to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. But the Lord sent them there to save Lot and his household. But the only ones that got out was Lot and his 2 daughters, because his wife looked back. It says, and he said, behold, now my Lord, turn in, I pray you, lords, turn in, I pray you, and into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early and go on your way. And they said, nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And so this was a custom that the Israelites had even before we were called Israelites. We were the sons of God. We knew that any visitors that came into town, hey, we'll house them, and they were under our protection, right? If something happened to them while they were under our protection, then we would be guilty for that. And so Lot was like, yo, come on in here, man, stay in. Like, don't be out here in these streets, because these niggas is wild out here. And he gonna get into it. And it says, and he pressed upon them greatly, right? And turned unto him and entered into his house. And he made them a feast and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat, right? But before they laid down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. So they heard that these 2 angels were there, these men were there, these calmly looking men were there. These motherfuckers got in an uproar. They wanted to rape them. They wanted to take him down. And it says, and they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us that we may know them. When you read it in the NLT, it says, they shouted to Lot, where are the men who came to spend the night with you? Bring them out to us so we can have sex with them. So these niggas, they was fucking raging homosexuals, bro. They was known for raping people, raping men, particularly men that came up in there that they knew was outsiders. They were taking. You know what I mean? That's how bad it was, bro. And Lot went out to the door, and Lot went out at the door unto them and shut the door at them. So he went outside, he closed the door. It was like, yo, what is y'all doing, man? He said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Why? Because laying down with a man is wickedness. Even before the law was given to us in writing, the law was still what it was. It was given orally through the sons of God, but they knew better. Lot knew better, right? And behold, now I have 2 daughters which have not known men. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you. Do unto them as good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. So Lot basically said, look, I got 2 daughters. You can take them and have them. They ain't never knew men. But these niggas is like, no, we want to get to those men. We want to fuck them. We want to do that. I'm being crass in my speech, but I'm trying to illustrate what happened. These niggas try to break into the house and get these men. And Lot was like, look, man, you can have my daughters. And they was like, no, they want the men. Right? He said no, because they under my protection. Why would you do something like that? And he says, and they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now will we deal worse with thee than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot. So they pressed sore upon Lot and came near to break the door. So they were so angry. They're like, nigga, if you don't get out the way, we're going to do worse to you. And they try to break the door down. And so this is what it says in the NLT. Stand back, they shouted. This fellow came to town as an outsider. So we know that Lot wasn't a Sodom, he wasn't a true Sodomite, because he didn't live amongst some people as a natural person that grew up there. He was from a different land. He was an outsider, right? And now he's acting like our judge, because prior to this, Abraham was saying, Lord, don't destroy. He knew Lot lived in Sodom. He knew that. So he was like, Lord, don't destroy Sodom. My nephew's there. And what if you find somebody there that's righteous too? For 5, for 10, I think for 50, this guy mentioned 50. But the Lord said, no, his judgment was to destroy that place because of the ungodliness that was going on over there, man. And he allowed that ungodliness to happen so he can destroy it and show his power. And this is what not to do when you live when you live on this planet. You ain't supposed to do that shit. But here in America, they push that behavior to be acceptable. The young, especially with the young generation today, the younger generations that have been over inundated with this philosophy of immorality and ungodliness. Men and women, older men and women are doing it too, but you're starting to see it more prevalent. It's acceptable. It was a time in this country that this shit wasn't acceptable. It was laws against it. They had laws called laws on boogery. You had men like Bayard Rustin, who was a raging homosexual that led the civil rights movement from behind the scenes. He was arrested many times for those ungodly acts, getting caught in bathrooms and shit like that with other men doing Lord knows what. People like I know his name. He's a writer. His last name is Baldwin. He did that shit. You know? So it was a time in this country where that shit wasn't acceptable, but as time progressed, this place waxed worse and worse and worse. Not that it was ever righteous. And now look at, they have laws on the books. They have protection on the books. They have services and things for people that are living this way. And the reason why the elite want the mass majority of men and women in this world to follow that ungodly custom is because it helps with population control. You got two men laying with each other, no life can come out of that. You got two women laying with each other, no life can come out of that. Right? Only death. Right? And that's a wicked, foul spirit that's on these people to be given into that. And so the Lord, going back into Sodom and Gomorrah, in the NLT it says, stand back, they shouted. This fellow came to town as an outsider, and now he's acting like our judge. See? They didn't even want to hear it. He says, we'll treat you far worse than those other men. And they lunged toward Lot to break down the door. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut the door. So the angels grabbed Lot by the back of his garment, pulled him in the door like, yo, get in here, man. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find a door. So the angels blinded these niggas. They bumping in each other and shit. And these niggas still wanted to have sex. These niggas were so sexually immoral that they were blind and still wanted it. It says, and the men said unto Lot, hast thou here any beside son-in-law and thy sons and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place. We will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of Yahweh. So the Lord saw these sins got high enough, he destroyed it. And that's the same thing the Lord's going to do in America. And Yahweh have sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spake unto his son-in-laws, which married his daughters, and said, up, get you out of this place, for Yahweh will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his son-in-laws. So these niggas didn't want to hear it. And when the morning arose, the angel hastened Lot, saying, arise, take thy wife and thy two daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed and the iniquity of the city. So that's what it was. It was destroyed for homosexuality. This I really don't gotta get no more scriptures to show you that, but it was true. I'm still gonna get more scriptures because I want to speak on this right here.
Look, so you done been to Sunday school. He said, give me 50, I'll save the city. Give me 25, I'll save the city. Give me 10, and I'll save the city.
It wasn't 50 righteous people in there. It wasn't 10. It wasn't 25. It was only Lot.
Sodom and Gomorrah was not destroyed because of homosexuality. It was destroyed because the homosexuals couldn't find nobody that was holy.
And this nigga's lying. And so I want to speak on this. You see a bunch of old women raising their hands, swearing their hand.
To tell them that ain't clean. And the problem with us.
Look, and they really think this nigga's getting down. Right? But he's not. This is the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3. Right? And it says, difficult times will come. Verse 6. For this sort, I'll start at 5. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. And that's what this dude is doing. The pastor in this church. He have a form of godliness. He claims he's a godly man, but he's denying the power of the Most High. For this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women, laden with sins, led with diverse lusts. In the NLT, it says, they are the kind who work their way into people's homes and win the confidence, right? These pastors and preachers are nothing but con men, confidence men, which that's what the word you get a con man from. It says, they are the kind who work their way into people's homes and win the confidence of vulnerable women who are burdened with the guilt of sin and controlled by various desires. And that's why you see these women shaking their head, standing up, like this nigga's really saying something. It's nothing but women talking about, yup, he telling the truth. No, he ain't. That nigga ain't telling the truth. This nigga's lying. This nigga's lying through his face, but these people are simple. And the scripture says the simple believe every word, right? But the prudent, and women are simple. And that's who really house in these churches. A lot of men go to these churches looking for a woman, looking for a freak. Most of these women are hoes anyway, old hoes, young hoes, and they're coming into the final phase of being a whore in this society, which they turn into Christian women, right? They go from being a whore, now this bitch want to feign religiosity. they want to feign religiousness, man, and holiness, right? Because that's the final form for a hoe. You know, is a so-called Christian woman. She ain't no God-fearing woman, but these are the people that are there, and he's speaking like this because this is acceptable to the world, you know. But that shit ain't acceptable to Yahweh Shai. You can believe that shit if you want. You people don't read the scriptures with understanding. The scripture says, wisdom is a principal thing, but with all thy getting, get understanding. And a vast majority of you so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans, you don't understand the Bible. You know, you don't understand it. The truth, somebody says, sir, you are not preaching truthful. And he's not. It says, go study and show thyself approved by. Well, that's what I'm saying. Y'all ain't studying and show yourself approved. Because the Lord don't like that. That wickedness, man. And it ain't nothing but simple ass women who are really, you know, simple women and men who really support this kind of rhetoric, man. You know? But this Romans chapter 1, verse 21, because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified them not as the Most High, neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imagination, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible power into an image made like to corruptible men, and to birds, and to four-footed beasts, and to creeping things. Wherefore the Most High also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. So this act of homosexuality, this ungodliness, this abominable acts are uncleanliness, right? And it's dishonorable unto you. Who changed the truth of the Most High to a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this cause the Most High gave them up unto vile affections. For even they women did change the natural use unto that which is against nature. And in NLT, it says, this is why the Most High abandoned them to their shameful desire. So these people that you see in this mindset, in this living out this philosophy of wickedness and ungodliness in the earth, the Lord just gave them up to that. They'll say, oh, I was born this way. No, the Lord just gave you up to uncleanness. Gave you them unclean demons that are conquering your mind and have you really believing that you're doing what's right, but you're really being deceived. Even the women turn against the natural way to have sex, because the natural way for a woman to have sex is with a man. And sex is used is not just for gratification and lustful desires. It's set up for procreation. It feels good, but it's set up for procreation to bring life into the world. Even the women turn against the natural way to have sex and instead indulge in sex with each other. That's lesbianism. All right? That's lesbianism. But you can't say this in these churches. You can't speak like that in these so-called churches. Because when you start speaking like that, you're going to lose congregation. You're going to lose your 501c3 charter. You're going to lose support in this world. So they got to preach a gospel that's acceptable to the world, right? Which is not the gospel of the Lord, right? It says, and likewise also the men leaving the natural use of the woman burn in their lust one toward another, men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meat. Okay. NLT says, and the men, instead of having normal sex relations with women, burn with lust for each other. Men did shameful things with other men. And as a result of this sin, they suffered within themselves the penalty they deserve, which they end up dying early, full of disease and all kinds of shit. You see? And so we're telling you that this is a sin, but you don't want to hear that. You believe that sin is done away with, that you can live how you want to live and everything's okay in the sight of the Most High and His Son, but it's not. It's not at all. And we out here, starting with the apostles and the bishop elders, we're out here telling you the truth, but you don't want to hear it because it ain't pleasing unto you, right? You rather hear lies than the truth. Okay, so I just wanted to bring this out. I hope you were edified with that. I'm going to say shalom. I'm going to the next.